There are very few games out there that feel like they shouldn't exist, and yet, somehow, they do. Games that are difficult, but never unfair. Beautiful, but also haunting. Simple at first glance, but endlessly deep the more you sit with them. That's exactly what Hollow Knight is. Over the past few years, all that has been on our mind has been Silksong. I feel like it's time we remember this one-in-a-million game. A quiet, somber, almost lonely journey into a fallen kingdom that, to this day, still stands as one of the greatest experiences in gaming. Hollow Knight drops you into its world with almost nothing. There is no hand-holding here, no lengthy exposition, no clear direction. You're just there. You play as the knight, a small, silent figure, a vessel, not a hero in the traditional sense, not some chosen one with a grand speech or personality, just a being drawn back to a place it once belonged to, pulled in by something deeper, the kingdom of Hallownest. A place that's already fallen by the time you arrive. And from the very first moment, when you drop off that cliff and descend into the unknown, the game makes one thing very clear. This isn't a world you're here to save. It's a world you're here to understand. That descent into Hallownest sets the tone for the entire game. It's quiet, it's somber, almost oppressive in the best way possible. You don't get bombarded with NPCs or quests telling you where to go. Instead, you're left to your own devices. So when you do meet someone, it feels meaningful. Take Elderbug, for example. Sitting at the surface in Dirtmouth, he's basically the last remnant of what used to be a thriving little town. And the way he talks, the way he reacts to your journey, it's subtle, but it hits. There's this underlying sadness to him, like he's watched countless others head down into Hollownest and never return. But what makes it even better is that as more characters slowly return to Dirtmouth, you can feel that shift in him. He becomes more hopeful, more alive. And that right there is what Hollownest does so well. It tells stories without forcing them on you. Then you meet characters like Conifer and Zelda. Conifer, this cheerful cartographer humming to himself as he maps out dangerous, forgotten places. And Zelda, back in Dirtmouth, supporting him by selling you everything you need to actually use those maps. It's such a simple system, but it adds so much personality to the world. And then it just keeps going. Hornet and her lineage, the Dreamers and their purpose, the Pale King's ambition and the Hollow Knight's purpose, the Grim Troop, the Godseekers and Godhome. Even smaller, quieter stories like Myla, Cloth, or the Weavers has so much untold weight. None of these feel like filler. Every single one adds weight to the world. But what really makes Hallownest special is that it, in itself, is the storyteller. You don't just learn about Hallownest through dialogue. You feel it through the environment. Dirtmouth is practically a shell of what it used to be. Empty, still, almost forgotten. Then you descend deeper, and suddenly you're standing in front of the Temple of the Black Egg. This massive looming structure that just sits there, radiating importance, even if you don't fully understand it yet. You reach the City of Tears, and it's constantly raining as it sits beneath the blue lake, causing this. But it also has great symbolic meaning. This once great city, now overtaken by the infection, crying endlessly. The fungal wastes feel alive in a completely different way. Strange, heavily infected and extremely dangerous. And then you go deeper into the Mantis village and everything changes again. There's pride, honor, strength. The enemies don't just mindlessly attack you, they respect power. And the craziest part, the game never outright tells you any of this. You are just forced to understand it. That's the kind of design that you don't see very often. And then there's the music. Because Hollow Knight, without its soundtrack, just wouldn't feel the same. And a huge part of that comes down to its composer, Christopher Larkin, who absolutely nailed the identity of this world. What makes it so special isn't just how good it sounds, it's how perfectly it matches every area. Take Greenpath, for example. The moment you step in, the music becomes soft, almost alive. It feels natural, peaceful, like a brief escape from everything you've just come from. Then you've got Kingdom's Edge, where the soundtrack feels more melancholic and distant. There's this sense of history there, like you're standing at the edge of something that used to matter a lot more than it does now. And then, Deep Nest. Everything changes, the music becomes more uncomfortable, more eerie, almost suffocating. It doesn't try to sound nice. It's there to make you feel on edge, like something is always watching you. And that's what Hollow Knight's music does so well. It doesn't just sit in the background, it shapes how you feel in every moment. You're not just exploring these places, you're feeling them. And the soundtrack is a huge part of why. Moving on to the gameplay, which honestly might be one of the most impressive parts of the entire experience. Because on the surface, it's incredibly simple. You can walk, you can jump, you can slash, and that's pretty much it. But even with just that, the game already gives you so much freedom. You can slash upwards, downwards, and that downward slash, that's where things start getting interesting. The pogo mechanic, bouncing off enemies and objects by striking downward, is one of those things that sounds small but completely changes how you approach the game. It adds verticality, movement, creativity, and then, as you progress, the game slowly expands your toolkit. You get the Mothwing Cloak, which gives you a dash, the Mantis Claw, letting you climb walls, the Crystal Heart, turning movement into this high-speed traversal tool, the Monarch Wings, giving you that double jump. And suddenly, what started as something so simple becomes this incredibly fluid, versatile movement system. And that's not even including soul abilities or charms. Charms alone completely change how you play. You can build around survivability, aggression, mobility, whatever fits your style. It's not just progression, it's personalization. And somehow, it all still feels balanced. But where everything really comes together is in the boss fights. Because in Hollow Knight, bosses aren't just obstacles. Some of them gate your progression, like the False Knight. Others reward you with abilities or upgrades, like the Broken Vessel or the Collector. But almost all of them serve a purpose. Whether it's mechanical, narrative, or both. You're not just fighting for the sake of it. You're uncovering pieces of the world. And the difficulty, it is an unforgiving game, but it's also fair. Every loss feels like your fault. Every win feels earned. And when you finally overcome a tough boss, that feeling, it's unmatched. And then we get to the part that honestly ties everything together. The lore. Because Hollow Knight doesn't just tell a story, It lets you, the player, discover it, piece by piece. And at the center of it all is this idea of the vessel, the Hollow Knight. And there's this one quote that defines everything. No cost too great, no mind to think, no will to break, no voice to cry suffering. Born of God and void, you shall seal the blinding light that plagues their dreams. You are the vessel. You are the Hollow Knight. That is not just cool writing, that's the foundation of the entire game. The idea of creating something so pure, something without thought, without will, without emotion, just to contain something as powerful as the radiance. It's tragic, because the moment you really understand what that means, you start to realize that nothing about the story is heroic. It's sacrifice, it's failure, and it's the consequences of trying to control something that was never meant to be contained. Hollow Knight is not just a great game. It's an experience that sticks with you. People replay it not just for the gameplay, but for the world, the atmosphere, the music, the feeling. It's one of those rare games where even after you finish it, you're still thinking about it, still connecting dots, still discovering things you may have missed. And honestly, that's why the Silksong is so massive. Because when a game reaches this level, you don't just want more, you need to see what comes next. Hollow Knight is a masterpiece in every sense of the word. From its gameplay to its world, to its characters, and to its music. It all comes together in a way that feels almost impossible. It's one of those games that doesn't just entertain you, it leaves a mark. And for me, it's a game that's reached a place in my heart that very few ever have. A game that left me with tears in my eyes and resolve in my heart. And if I booted it up today, I already know I'd get that exact same feeling all over again. That's just me. But I want to hear what you have to say. Do you think Hollow Knight is a masterpiece? Or did it not click the same way for you? Let me know down in the comments. I genuinely love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like. It really helps out the channel. And if you want more discussions like this on more masterpieces in gaming, make sure to subscribe to Controller Culture. And as always, I'll see you all in the next one.